I'm visiting this morning with Jody Shields. Jody, you are the Executive Director for the Wyoming Nonprofit Network. Thank you for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
So let's talk a little bit about the network, especially for those who are not familiar with it. I know it's been a passion of yours for quite some time. So let's talk about the mission and just how the network has evolved over time.
Sure. We serve as a collective voice for the Wyoming nonprofit sector. We are the state association for charitable nonprofits, defined by the IRS as 501c3s. There's about a little over 3,000 of these types of organizations. We do have a membership base. We've had about 200 members that support our operations. Slowly building this this organization for the past several years.
So let's segue into a little bit with WyoGives, which is the big reason why we are here today to talk about this incredible fundraising campaign for nonprofits throughout the state of Wyoming taking place July 15th. I know that WyoGives is something that you have been working on for quite some time. So let's talk a little bit about your vision for that and why you decided to implement this day of giving for Wyoming.
Well, we started talking about it in 2017. The board, the Wyoming Nonprofit Network board, started talking about it again about the fall of 2017 at our fall retreat. And we did some research to see what other states were doing, what other giving days were doing, if this is something that might make sense in Wyoming, and does it make sense to have the Wyoming Nonprofit Network do this. And we did a lot of different research, presented it to the board, and the board was excited about it, but wisely decided that we needed to plan for it, not try to do it the very next year. We knew we had a symposium that would be coming up in 2019. We do a symposium basically every other year. And so decided to kick it off in 2019 at the symposium, which we did in June of 2019 in Sheridan. And then use this past year to really put everything in motion. So there was a lot of upfront work, researching on which platform we would use, coming up, what was our budget, was our expectations in terms of number of nonprofits participating, the number, the funds we might be able to raise. So while it may seem for many folks that they've just hearing about it or heard about it in the last few months, we've been working on it for some time. And we opened up registration to nonprofits, I think about October of 2019, and have been working on that since.
So we know that the nonprofits are the backbone to communities statewide. We have over 130 nonprofits registered for WyoGives. Let's talk about the importance of July 15th to nonprofits and why it is so important for donors to participate and donate to their favorite organizations statewide.
Well, our vision for WyoGives was to be a mechanism to introduce nonprofits to the state, to people that maybe aren't aware of all the different type of organizations there are and all the wonderful work that's going on, to supplement, their fundraising efforts, and just a day to celebrate nonprofits and raise awareness. July is the founding month of Wyoming, and we thought July made a lot of sense in terms of the time of year. It's a great time in Wyoming in July. A lot of giving days take place during the holidays, and you're competing with a lot of branding and other things that are going on. It's often a busy time for nonprofits in their year-end giving, plus many of them have their financial year-end then. And so we thought, July was a unique time to do it. July 15th, we landed on looking at other things going on. Obviously, pre-COVID, we did this. So just looked at what other statewide events were going on and landed on this particular date.
And speaking of COVID-19, we We could not have predicted a better time for WyoGives to be taking place because, as we all know, nonprofits now more than ever need dollars, especially with the COVID-19. So let's talk a little bit about the importance of the donations for nonprofits now, especially given the last 2 or 3 months where nonprofits have been struggling in our state.
Right. We couldn't have obviously known what kind of impact this would have, or what our lives would be like when we were planning on this. But it is the perfect event at the perfect time. It's all online. From the beginning was designed to be all online. So it allows us to create this excitement and hold this event without any worries about bringing people together and public health issues. Many nonprofits had to cancel events in the spring and are canceling events in the fall just because of the unknown. To protect public health, to adhere to public health orders. They've done that. So they've missed out on fundraising events as well as program service revenue. If they were holding different programs where you need in-person contact, that revenue is not coming in. And then for some of them, they've had increased expenses if they're on the front lines of responding and helping people during this pandemic. So it's certainly been difficult for the nonprofit sector. And so this event has really, as I said, come at an ideal time.
Do you see WyoGives becoming an annual event for the state of Wyoming for fundraising?
I would love to see it become an annual event. There's a first time for everything, and this is our first year. The board, we have some benchmarks we've passed. We had a very conservative benchmark, 100 nonprofits registered. We've got 133 that are participating. And then our match by the John P. L. Bogan Foundation, the $100,000 match. We had hoped, conservatively that we could raise $100,000 in our first time for one day. With this match, we should obviously easily do that and far surpass it. So we feel like those benchmarks, have been passed, and we very much want to hold this on an annual event or annual basis and really build excitement around it and grow it.
And we really could not be doing this campaign without the participation of some incredible sponsors. So this would be a good time, I think, to talk a little bit about our thanks to them for being so supportive of this, of WyoGives.
Absolutely. So Blue Cross Blue Shield is a presenting sponsor. They've been wonderful to work with. We're very happy to have them as all of our sponsor. Wells Fargo is a supporting sponsor, and they are also doing a $10,000 match to organizations with the housing or homelessness mission. Wells Fargo folks have been talking to us all the way back to the symposium. They were interested in what we were doing, so very happy to have them on board. And then our friends friend sponsors are Blue Federal Credit Union, which is a supporter of ours in the past, and Wyoming Food Bank of the Rockies is a supporter as well. So we're very happy to have them. And then, as I mentioned, the John P. L. Bogan Foundation is a matching partner, and so they're matching. We're taking $100,000, splitting it among the 133 nonprofits into a challenge match for each of those.
And I believe we also have a media sponsor, is that correct?
We do. We have a media partner, Wyoming PBS, and the PBS Foundation has been wonderful to work with. They produced the public service announcement the governor did for us, and so that's on our website now. So they produced that for us in kind. And so they've been and a wonderful partner in strategizing on marketing, and Wyoming PBS Foundation is a participating nonprofit.
So throughout my interviews with all the nonprofits registered for WyoGives, I always like to close out my conversation by saying the donors are critical for July 15th. So what would you like to say to donors or potential new donors coming into WyoGives July 15th on the importance of giving to nonprofits in our state?
July 15th is really a time to celebrate Wyoming and bring people together in a very positive way. And there's so many different types of nonprofits. So whatever speaks to you, whatever your passion is, whether it is human services, health, education, arts, culture, among many other areas, you can find an organization that matches your interest. You can search by the interest level. If you have a particular organization you want to support, you can search by their name. You can look at the entire list. You can also search by location. But I encourage you to take some time and just visit their profiles, learn a little bit about each of them, and then encourage you to support them and have your, make sure to pass on the word to your family members and friends as well on this important day.
Jody Shields, thank you for your time this morning. We wish you the best of luck on July 15th through WyoGives, and let's hope this becomes an annual event for the state of Wyoming.
Thank you, and I have one more shout out to give. My Align team, Align has been a huge supporter of the Wyoming Nonprofit Network, provides in-kind support, provides much of my time, as well as you, Kathy, have been a great help, as Christy too with the Align team. So it's been wonderful to have you guys helping with us on this.
Pleasure to be a part of it, Jody. Thank you so much.
Thanks. Bye-bye.